Alright, so anyway, without further ado, on What We Like by Hannah Land, directed by Jennifer.
Do I come up and introduce?
No.
I don't
Did you
have
want to introduce your actors or no?
They
Or
don't
they
need
can just say their names.
introduction.
Just say your names and the character you're reading.
Hi, I'm Andrew Mitchell, and I'll be reading for Arthur.
Hi, my name is Libby Kim. I'll be reading as Norma.
Hi, I'm Darcy Fowler, and I'll be reading for Gustav.
Hey, I'm Joy Mullen. I'll be reading for Germaine.
Hello, I'm Eddie Stockman, and I will be reading for George.
I'm Julia Kreutzer, and I'm reading for Edna.
I'm Lennox Kamara. I'll be reading for Eugen.
I'm Lauren Lowell, and I'll be reading for Cora.
I'm Juan Wagner, and I'll be reading Stage Directions. A Lovely Light by Hannah Land. Time. The events in this play take place between March and December 1921. Setting. The play is set in two different apartments, Nora and Edna's small studio apartment in New York City, and Edna's bedsit apartment in Paris. The Paris apartment becomes especially claustrophobic for Edna as she becomes ill over the course of Act 1. The only external scenes take place on a pier, which should feel like the liminal space between the two cities and does not have to be represented with. Act 1, Scene 1. The lights come up on Edna and her sister Norma's Greenwich Village apartment. It's a studio. There are two twin beds, a sitting area, a small countertop with a sink and a stovetop, and a window that looks out on an alley and a brick wall. There are two doors. One is the main apartment entrance and leads to the communal stairwell. The other leads to the bathroom. It is March 1921. Edna, Norma, Cora, Arthur, and Eugen are playing charades.
Oh, I feel faint. I can barely stand.
Let me help you.
Consumption. Pneumonia? Sick?
It's got to be ill. That's a more common word, Edna.
What was the second part first, now the first part second? Oh, Norma, please give me my cigarettes. Oh, darling, I never had a lover as caring as you.
I'll do anything but be gentle with you.
Oh, God. Really? Lovers?
Sex?
Pillow talk.
Close, Mama. That think more of the effect and less of the action.
Yes, and now both clues together.
Lover. Cough. Hair. I hate this game. Something about illness. Lovesick.
Oh, a good guess.
But not quite.
Tendril.
Arthur does it again.
What? How?
First part tender, second part ill.
Hunt together a tendril of hair. How clever. I hate this game. You are excellent, Eugen.
A natural duo if I ever saw one.
Am I allowed to stay in then?
I must admit you brought us an excellent guest, Arthur. Another round? Norma can act this time so she doesn't have to guess.
I can't believe you're making me play this stupid game. As if leaving me isn't enough. Why don't we all bring out another round of refreshments instead? Who can help me pour these drinks?
I can.
I thought we said we weren't going to keep doing that.
I've been away for a month and I'm about to leave again. I missed you.
I missed you too. I thought I agreed we should be
Just friends. I know.
I am married.
And yet, it's almost like you don't have any respect for the institution of matrimony.
You seem to be getting along with Eugen rather well.
Oh, now I see. You're trying to set me up. The cheek!
Drink.
Thank you. Shall we toast to Paris?
To Paris. The breaker of this mother's heart.
Come on, Mama.
She's right though. You shouldn't go. Tori basically wrecked you.
Oh, hush. I'm right as rain now.
Because your sister did such a good job taking care of you.
At least someone recognizes my hard work. Thank you, Arthur. Darling, do you really have to leave? Can't you write your column from here?
I suppose, technically, but it will be so much easier with Paris as inspiration.
And it will be the perfect way to promote 2nd April once it's published. What's that again?
Any day they tell me.
A few figs from thistles is already so successful. Surely you don't need any more publicity.
It's a good career move. Everyone who's anyone is currently writing in Paris.
I think great trauma can do that to a place, make it burn extra bright. The scars of the war are still very fresh there,
Have you spent much time in Paris?
only for business since the end of the war.
Are the parties good though? I'm not put off by staff men. I've found that they're often the best answers.
Honestly, you would think that you were too young to remember the war. You were in college.
I remember.
How brilliant your wartime spirit play was at Vassar made me.
Dean told me it was the best thing he'd ever seen written by a student.
Oh, you were at Vassar?
She was a few years behind Inez.
Muhammad, my wife.
Oh, I didn't realize. She was a legend on campus when I was there. And she gave the most incredible speech about women's suffrage during Alumni Week.
She sounds like an impressive woman.
You genuinely likes impressive women.
I found Monique the best dancers. She loved Paris. I bet you will too.
I am dying to know how you got Vanity Fair to cover your experience. No editor of mine has ever been that generous.
Simple. I dangled the prospect of using my real name as a byline. Nancy Boyd will continue to make appearances in the magazines, of course, but I hinted that I might be willing to drop a pen name for the right price.
Of course they want to be done with Nancy. One of you is more than enough.
My sister is fundamentally incapable of demonstrating any kind of respect for me, but I know deep down she truly loves me.
I'm just worried is all.
I promise you, I will be fine.
The lights flicker and go out.
Damn breaker box!
Anyone know where the candles are?
Don't you dare start reciting at me!
No poetry, just a question. How am I supposed to find anything in this apartment when you're always squirreling things away?
Hiding, dresser, door.
Oh, got it.
Well, I think that's my cue to leave.
Don't go yet. We were just starting to have a good time.
Evelyn will be wondering where I am. Has anyone seen my coat?
Here it is.
This is very rude, leaving before I'm ready to say goodbye.
You know me, always a disappointment. Good night, Vincent. I would wish you good luck in Paris,
I
but
don't need it. Send me a letter every now and then.
I will. Norma, should I walk you down to the breaker room?
Oh, you go home, dear. I'll go down with Norma.
When Paris has made you rich, you better buy me a house with brand new wiring.
Cross my heart.
The thought of never having to go into that basement again makes it almost worth it.
What's that about reciting?
Norma has been the audience for all my practice readings. She's just sick of it.
Well, I've never heard you before. You should give me a poem.
It's a bit odd, isn't it? Me orating at you in the dark.
Oh, I see. The legendary Edna St. Vincent Millay is feeling nervous.
Fine. What do you want to hear?
Your favorite.
I love them all equally, but this is the one that Norma was threatening me about because my candle burns at both ends. It will not last the night. But ah, my foes, and oh, my friends, it gives a lovely light.
I hope you don't burn out too soon. Candlelight suits you.
Don't worry about me. It's just a little drama. Audiences like that for some reason.
I think I can see why. I wish Art had told me it was a going away party.
It's very tacky of you to not have brought me a gift.
Except
How
for my
on earth
concern.
will I remember you now?
Oh, exactly my concern.
You've had the whole night to make a good impression.
And how'd I do?
Not bad, actually. I might even decide to remember I like you.
Act 1, Scene 2. Cora and Edna are standing on a pier, which is maybe just an empty area downstage in the New York City apartment set. It is cold, and they are bundled up waiting for the ship to depart. Edna is fiddling with a cigarette.
Damn, I forgot
I will miss you.
That's all. I am already devastated without you.
Don't say that.
Well, I have decided that Paris is worth the sacrifice. I always wanted to go. And to see you
If I
there,
could take you, I would.
with all the Chanel and Binet dresses, we would both be, we would both require, you could never afford me.
You have cursed me with exquisite taste.
Don't forget talent and looks. That's from me too.
Of course.
Don't worry, Norma will look in.
It's not the same though, is it?
No, not really.
Promise me you'll be alright.
When have I ever not been?
I will write.
You won't.
I promise. I'll be better this time.
All right then. I expect a detailed account. A letter every day.
Come on.
If you can't manage that, then I'll accept poems instead. Dedicated to me. A book of them. It's the only thing that can make up for you leaving me.
You are too much.
Would you have me any other way?
No.
The ship's whistle blows. Edna puts the cigarette out. Eugen enters, his out of breath.
Eugen?
I asked Norma. Well, I went by the apartment and this morning and she said you already left or that you were here leaving, so I came down.
He holds out a little wrapped gift.
I was just joking. You didn't have to.
But I wanted to.
Edna takes it and a little wearily opens it. It's a notebook.
It's lovely. But I'll type my columns, and I've already packed.
It's not for work. It's for you. You cannot make sense of a new place without a journal. That's what Inez always said. She had a journal for each trip.
That's kind. Thank you.
The ship's whistle blows again.
Come on, love. If you miss this ship, I'm never letting you out of my sight again.
Goodbye, Eugen.
Try not to break too many hearts in Paris. You're already leaving the men of New York in tatters.
Me? Never.
Act 1, Scene 3. Edna is unpacking in her new Paris apartment. The layout is largely the same as the New York apartment. One bathroom door, one hallway door, and a small kitchen area. There is only one bed this time, and a small kitchen table and chairs. The window now has a beautiful skyline view. Suddenly, the stomachache hits Edna. She drops the box she was working on and runs to the bathroom. Gustav enters, struggling with his cane and bad leg. He's drunk enough to think he's in his own apartment.
George! George! You will never believe the indignity that I've just suffered. Emily, she left me. Shouted that my self-pity is untenable in the middle of the cafe. But I will show her. She will be so ashamed after my applications to exhibit the salons have been accepted. I will be surrounded by admirers, and then I will say, Emily, I do not know an Emily, but of course I will sign an autograph for you.
Hello? Can I help you?
You can indeed, madam, by telling me why every one of your sex is so beautiful, yet so disagreeable. Also, where's George?
Well, we are complicated creatures, I suppose. Who is George?
He lives here with me.
You do not. This is my apartment.
Disagreeable and also maddening. What are you doing in my room?
Gustav!
Ah, there he is. You will see.
Gus, what have I said about wandering?
You should have not brought home another woman when you knew I would be heartbroken over Emily.
How would I have... Never mind. Gus, this is the 3rd floor. We live on the 4th.
Wow. Always pleased to meet a neighbor.
I must apologize for my friend. He finds the stairs difficult, and sometimes in his drunken sadness he lops off a floor in his calculations.
That's quite all right. I think he is perfectly charming. How do you do, Mr.
Mr. Delaney, I'm afraid. I have no manners.
I was actually just coming down to bring you a housewarming gift. I'm George Slocum.
Investigative journalist extraordinaire.
Really? Well, I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. And Miss St. Vincent Millette.
Believe me, the pleasure is all mine. Not so often we get an actually successful writer in our midst.
You know who I am.
Can't put a bunch of starving artists in one cramped, almost tenement and expect them not to gossip.
George will know all your secrets before you.
Oh, what else have you heard about me?
The grapevine tells me you're very beautiful, like to drink, and have the flat with the best view in the building. I can see immediately that at least 2 of those are true.
Well, I can't argue with that. Let me find a corkscrew.
Brilliant. So, what brings you to our desolate city?
Vanity Fair is paying me to write a column.
Oh, George, have you ever been published in such fancy publications?
You know, Edna doesn't suit you at all. Far too pretty for such an old-fashioned name.
My friends call me Vincent. You can too if I decide I like you.
I do love a challenge.
Are you a patriot?
Not a very good one. He recently got told off by Picasso and his mates.
That was because I was drunk, not because of my art. They love my art.
Of course they do. Gus is always getting drunk. It is my sworn duty as flatmate to keep him from accidentally killing himself in the process.
It is the only reason we let him stay. He is too posh for this part of Paris.
You don't seem to mind when I pay your tab at the bar.
George moved into this building in order to better experience the boheme he was reporting on. It is why he is so intent on investigating you.
Do not listen to him. I happen to find you attractive. That is all.
Likewise, Mr. Slaughter.
You know what? Let's go out. It's the first really good spring night, and there isn't enough wine here for our purposes anyway.
Oh, do not make me.
You cannot avoid Amelie forever.
Watch me.
That's going to be difficult considering how often she's with your sister.
I can already imagine the lecture Jermaine will give me.
She's Picasso's current muse, supposedly one of the most striking women in all of Paris. I'm not convinced.
You just dislike her because she's never tried to charm you.
Or any man. Come on, Gus. It's boring in this horrible building and I want to go out.
Ah, Mr. Daubier, you must take me out and introduce me to your friends. I have a very serious illness and I have to take my freedom while I'm here.
Oh, God. Seriously?
No! I am only a little ill with a stomachache, I don't know.
You should not joke.
You can pretend it's true if you want. It will make you seem very gallant in front of the people you want to impress.
You are as devious as George. Has he told you about how he stole the Russian crown jewels out from under the Bolsheviks?
Not yet.
Do not let him. He is a rencontre.
You thought of it.
Do not blame me. I said it as a joke. You turned it into a legend.
It gets you girls, doesn't it?
It gets you girls. I'm just the wounded veteran they take pity on.
Oh, did you fight for France?
And all I got for it was this damned king.
That all seems rather impressive to me. You're a war hero.
See, Gus? All you need to work on is your confidence.
You're one to talk, a wife at home, and still the most loved man in Paris.
You know, Gustave, I'm beginning to see that Mr. Slocum is quite the scoundrel.
Oh, I'm afraid I cannot deny it. I hope that won't prevent you from coming out to the cafe with us.
Oh, I love a good bicycle.
I knew you'd be a fun one.
I think, George, you will find that I am the most fun you have ever had.
Act 1, Scene 4. A few weeks have passed. Edna and George come back in from a night out. They're drinking out of a bottle of wine. There's something of an item now.
Who was that man? Edward. I didn't like him. He was too charming. He was laying it on way too thick.
You're jealous.
Of course I am. All of Paris wants you. I have you. And I will fend them off if it is the last thing that I do.
Oh, how very noble of you. Not sure I could really bring myself to sleep with anyone with the last name of Cummings anyway.
Ugh. Yeah, that EE shit is fucking ridiculous.
George! George, let me in!
Go back upstairs, Gustav.
You must tell me, George, why am I such a failure?
Jesus. Because you've had too much to drink and you need to go back to bed.
Oh, but why have I not heard back from the salons yet? Why can they not see it? My whole heart is in those canvases.
I see it when I look at your paintings. Really?
Oh, well, there you go. You have supportive friends. Now, can you go back upstairs?
No one will hang my paintings. I apply everywhere. I buy every curator drinks, and yet no one.
Gus, upstairs now.
Fine.
Night, Gus.
That man never met a pub he couldn't drown himself in.
The war wasn't easy on him.
You're being generous.
You should have more sympathy. You were there.
But it didn't turn me into an insufferable drunk
Just a grizzled, attractive reporter.
with a wicked sense of adventure.
Well, I'm gonna test that out tonight.
Oh, can't wait.
George!
Go back to
But
bed.
I threw up on it.
Okay. You know what? Sleep in mine tonight.
You won't need it.
Really?
Really.
Okay. Bonne nuit, Mademoiselle Saint Edward.
Good night. We should do something about that.
Must we?
This will keep happening if we don't. I have an idea. It will take just a minute. What's the name of the salon where Gus most wanted to exhibit?
The Salon des Indépendants.
Dear Gustave, I so admire your latest work. What was the name of this painting?
Apple tree with sewer.
Cubists. God. Apple tree with sewer. I hope we may have the pleasure to show it in the upcoming Salon des Indépendants. Sincerely, Frédéric Dubois, Salon Jurist.
Who is that?
A leading member of the Salon jury who I hear is very hard to impress.
And who you just made up.
Yeah? Stick it on the pile of mail before he wakes up in the morning. That should buy us a few good Gus months.
And if the actual Salon writes?
Are you really telling me that Gustave reads the mail before you do? It should be easy to hide.
Is this going to backfire like your plan to get us backstage at the Follies?
This is a much better plan. Besides, didn't you steal the crown out from under the Tsar? White lies are your forte. And who else could I trust to be my accomplice?
No one, I suppose.
True. No one else in all of Paris. Now, what was that you were saying about your sense of adventure?
Act 1, Scene 5. It's morning, a few weeks later. George is up, getting ready to leave. Edna drags herself out of bed.
She finally awakens!
We were out late.
Not that late.
Are you leaving? Don't leave.
Not all of us live the leisurely life of the writer.
You are a writer.
I am a journalist, which crucially still requires me to go into an office every now and again. I'm already late. You working today?
My third column is due.
That shouldn't take long.
Knock it out by lunchtime, surely.
There's toast and eggs.
Thanks.
Edna makes herself a plate and sits down wearily at the kitchen table in front of the typewriter. She's writing a sort of society agony on column for Vanity Fair. This is work, and she tries to channel all of her charm into this writing.
Dear Nancy, when should I plan my trip to Paris, and what should I see when I am there?
Well, dear reader, everyone knows that springtime in Paris is the most lovely. The city comes to life along with the exotic palmina blossoms and mournful irises. And the most fashionable people can be seen strolling in the Jardin des Tuileries along, and the Jardin de Luxembourg on Saturday mornings, paying penance for their Friday dinner. Or is that just me?
She pulls the sheet of typewriter from the paper in frustration. She starts to write the play again. It's a letter this time. As she types, Arthur enters. The stage becomes a liminal space that they share while somehow still remaining in their separate cities. Time speeds up for the audience, so much so that the letters overlap and begin to feel like a conversation. But the characters can't see each other, and because of the delay in sending cross-Atlantic letters, they sometimes interrupt or miss each other's points.
Dear Arthur, Paris is swell, but I am struggling with these column deadlines. They seem to come quicker each time.
Vincent, Paris is surely a distraction as much as an inspiration. Try a poem. Surely Vanity Fair would not object to one in exchange for a column.
Poetry flows a little more, but only a little. If you were here, you would surely snap me out of it.
It's unlike you to be short on verses. You know I would come if I could escape the wife.
Always the wife. Do you know that 2nd April is still stuck at the publishing house? Don't tell Norma, but I worry about the royalties and my stomach.
I'm sending some francs, as consolation for the lack of my presence and to cheer you as you wait for publication. Enjoy Paris, fortune. Sincerely yours, Arthur.
Cora and Norma enter. Their letters break quietly.
Dearest daughter, I told you would not write. Am I not always right? Don't worry about me. I am fine without you.
She is going out of her mind without you. She is over at my place constantly. My kingdom for a day of peace.
Mama, Your letter finds me as I am sitting down to write you. Such baseless accusations.
What is Paris like? The parties, the dancing?
I hope you are not drinking too much. I fret because I love you.
And because you know I hate it. No, I am not partying too much. In fact, I have found a very nice man.
Tell me all about him.
George, he's a journalist.
I'm sure he's smart and very handsome. You wouldn't settle for anything less.
Just as long as he's not married.
He's not.
Don't lie to me. I can see it right through it. Anyway, I hope you leave this one in better shape than Eugene.
Eugene?
He's been over here bothering me for your address again. I know you hate it when they move,
I do not.
but don't be surprised if he writes.
Everyone loves you. How can they not? You know I am so proud of you.
Mama, I'm a little bit worried.
You know I always wanted to be a writer. And now I tell people I am the grandmother of all your poems. Now I am the grandmother of Parisian poems. Work hard, my dear. I send you all my love.
Love you too, Mama.
Cora and Norma exit. Eugene enters and begins to write and compose a letter to Edna. While Eugene speaks, Edna gives up on the typewriter. She tries to eat a cracker from a box in the kitchen and fails. She ends up in bed smoking through the pain.
Dear Edna, I hope you don't find this presumptuous that I would reach out. Oh, no, too formal. Maybe. I know we barely know each other, but I must admit that I cannot stop thinking about you. Oh my God, how embarrassing. How is Paris? Have you taken your little notebook out to the banks of the Seine yet? I'd love to know what you're writing in its pages. Is it too sincere? Maybe.
He sighs again and throws the letter out. At the same time, Edna spots the gifted notebook and pulls it out. This time, the writing comes easily. She follows Eugene's instructions. This journal is just for her. Whenever we see Edna writing in her journal, we are seeing her unguarded and honest.
Well, here I am in bed again with the illness. No one has the time to listen to its description, so I will put it here. A captain's log, if you will. Its defining feature is smallness. Small fevers, small meals, small knives through my abdomen. But you must keep my secret, journal. For how can I let anyone know how small it makes me feel?
She lies back down. Lights fade. Act 1, Scene 6. It's July. George and Edna are standing next to the tiny kitchen counter. Edna fiddles with the stovetop.
It is the first really hot day of the year, and instead of sitting on the pavement watching the world go by over a cocktail from our favorite cafe, you are slaving over a hot stove in a tiny, badly ventilated flat. Hell, I'm standing over a hot stove in a badly ventilated flat. Why?
Can you get this burner? It never lights for me.
Why are you cooking? I thought you hated cooking.
Because we have company.
First of all, this is your apartment. We don't have anything. Second, it's just Gustave and Germaine.
Well, I don't know, Germaine. Also, maybe I want to impress you.
With what? Are you actually going to eat tonight?
I eat. I always eat.
You do not. You run on gin and tonic.
It's cassoulet, your favorite.
Oh no. I know what that means. What do you want from me?
Nothing.
I don't believe that for a second.
I was wondering if you could spot me rent. Just next month.
I thought your New York beau sent you money.
That was weeks ago.
And I see you have acquired several beautiful new dresses in the meantime.
Which you have very much enjoyed taking off.
How much do you need?
Not much, really. I should be able to pay you back next month. 2nd April should finally be released by now. 200 francs.
Edna,
That's practically nothing in pounds.
it isn't nothing.
But you love me so much.
Do I?
It's the least you can do since you insist on leaving me for all of August.
It's not my choice. When you have a wife, you can't get away with never seeing her.
If I got evicted, I would have to come stay with you and Gus, which you would hate.
When you have a wife, you also can't get away with spending all of her father's money on a lover.
It's just this one.
Gustave and Germaine let themselves in. They are mid-conversation.
They're all horrible.
I hope you're not talking about my cooking.
Of course I'm not sure.
He's talking about Gertrude and her friends. You're just jealous. I'm Jimmy, by the way.
Edna, nice to meet you.
They think they determine the future of art in this city. Why? Because they manage to meet on the same day each week?
We could meet every week and make our own salon if we want.
You'd like them if you gave them a chance.
Germain has sat for Picasso.
He's exacting, but by the end you understand genius. Gertrude is very kind once you get to know her.
Why must I pretend to like Pablo? He isn't very nice to you.
It's nothing I can't handle.
Germain is being polite, but Picasso does make a habit of yelling at women.
Not to mention his cubism, which is so aggressive it gives us all a bad name.
That's all very passé now anyway. He is working on a new style. It is much more surreal.
I do enjoy how cutting edge you are, Germain. You should try to catch your brother up. He's always at least 3 steps behind.
I am perfectly on time. Germaine is just a snob who sticks her nose up at anything that isn't en vogue.
That's not true. I like older things just fine.
Not anymore. You got all of your best taste from Claudette. She broke your heart, now you roll your eyes at anything classic.
They were insufferable, always quoting Shakespeare or Voltaire at each other.
It's just for work. I get more jobs if I'm up to date on what everyone's working on.
I hope you haven't abandoned the bar completely. That would be a tragedy.
Not entirely, just enough to avoid stirring old memories.
Why don't you tell them your good news, Gus?
I have been corresponding with the judge on the board of the Salon de Independence. He has accepted one of my paintings at the salon.
That's great news.
Finally, I am released from the never-ending cycle of application, projection, application, projection.
Are you sure that is a good idea? After what happened last year?
Well, my work has been accepted. It is nothing from last year.
But what if the critics are cruel? You were so distraught if something goes wrong. I just can't bear to see you like that again.
It's going to be Gus's year. I'm sure of it. Emily took you back, didn't she?
You must be my good luck charm.
Always happy to help. Oh, can someone help me with this? I can't tell if it's finished or not.
No, it needs more time.
I'm hungry. I always forget how stressed cooking makes me. It's making me nauseous.
Told you.
This is what I get for trying to impress you.
Can you make it go any faster? Turn up the heat or something?
I don't see why not. You're a poet, yes? So why are you cooking to impress me?
Are you saying I should be performing for you instead?
Oh,
I don't see why not.
here we go.
Ignore him. Give us a show, Edna.
Well, if you insist.
Edna stands on a chair to recite. The boys watch, but this performance is really for Germain.
Were you not lovely, I would leave you now. After the feet of beauty fly my own. Were you not still my hunger's rarest food, and water ever to my wildest thirst, I would desert you, think not, but I would, and seek another as I sought you first. For you are mobile as the veering air, and all your charms more changeful than the tide.
Mary, don't be rude. There's smoke.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Finn, the cassoulet is burning.
Therefore, to be inconstant is no care, I have but to continue my yourself.
I'm afraid it's quite hopeless.
Let's just go out. We can get cassoulet at the cafe on the corner.
Surely some of it is salvageable.
Suddenly, this is no longer just nausea. Edna runs to the kitchen sink and vomits. Germain is by her side quickly, holding back up her hair. Act 1, Scene 7. Edna sits in front of the typewriter. She types out a few words, then puts her head in her hands.
It is too hot. I can't write, not even the Nancy Boyd dribble, much less something to put my own name on. August is unbearable. Maybe I just...
She touches her head, checking for a fever. The pain is back. She goes to lie down. She fishes the journal out of a stack of papers and writes them instead.
I feel weaker as the weeks pass. My apartment, which seemed so comfortable upon arrival, now feels like a humid summer prison. I rarely have the will to make it down 3 flights of stairs to the street anymore. The outside air barely penetrates the window. I cannot focus on anything other than my stomach. 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 I am either hungry or in pain. Perhaps I should write about it. A novel, something satirical. Hunger as a metaphor for For something. Or am I just losing my mind? Paris is cursed in the heat. I long for distraction, for a time machine, for anything that will make this horrible season end.
Arthur enters. He writes Edna a letter.
Dear Vincent, how is Paris? I hear you're having a heat wave, but you've always loved the summers.
Have I?
I'm writing you because you ought to know, and you should probably hear it directly from me. Evelyn and I are getting divorced.
What?
I won't bore you with the details, but suffice it to say that our relationship had reached its natural conclusion.
Wait. Dear Arthur, I can hardly write this. My hands are shaking so much. You will come to Paris now, won't you?
I've found when two adults live together, it can be rather difficult to sustain the passion that first brought them together.
I have waited for the moment you could fully be mine since you first wrote me when I was 19.
Or perhaps it was simply a sign that the passion was never really there in the magnitude that I perceived it to be.
I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. Say the word, and I shall never miss you again.
The paperwork is horrible, but I am happier now, and I hope you'll be happy for me.
I am yours and waiting, Vincent.
Sincerely, Arthur.
Back to the journal.
Was that enough, do you think? Will that convince him to come, to propose? No matter how much I try to tell him, he never seems to entirely hear me. What if a satirical novel with food as a metaphor for sex or for love? What if no one spoke freely of their dinner in the same way that no one speaks freely of the matters of the heart or the bedroom for that matter? I may be insane, but it's something to work on.
Cora and Norma enter. They're all writing letters to Edna.
Sometimes it feels like no time has passed at all since you left, dear. Sometimes it feels like the whole world has changed.
I assume you've heard of Arthur's divorce,
Of course I have.
and also of his remarriage.
What?
I meant to tell you sooner, but it was hard after you sent that letter, which was beautifully written, of course, because you wrote it. But how was I supposed to tell you then?
You said we promised.
It's just love, Vincent. Silly, really, but all's fair.
But I thought you loved me.
I will always love you, but not in the way I love Gladys.
How's that?
In a marriage sort of way. I hope we can still be friends. All my love. Really. Arthur.
Arthur, Cora, and Norma exit. Along with the liminal letter space. Germaine enters, firmly in here and now.
Edna,
What are you doing?
your door was unlocked.
Not what I asked.
I came to check on you. We haven't seen you at the cafe for ages. We're worried.
Don't worry about me. I'm swell. When have I been anything other than swell?
You're drinking in bed alone. What's going on?
Nothing. I'm fine. I'm only assailed by heartbreak from all sides.
Is it George?
Well, he's in London with Julia, so that's certainly not helping.
It's hard to love someone who already has a wife.
Wife, God, I hate that word. I would be happy if I never heard it again as long as I live.
Don't you ever want to be one?
It doesn't matter much what I want. The only man I've ever really loved, I mean, since I was a girl long before George, just went and married someone else.
My love is as a fever longing still for that which longer nurseth the disease, feeding on that with doctors the ill, the uncertain sickly appetite to please.
I thought you had renounced Shakespeare.
Claudette left behind her copy of the complete works, and I read it about 1,000 times after she left. Will you eat something?
Past cure I am, now reason is past care.
Sandwich, soup,
You are far too ambitious.
oatmeal, toast?
Did Claudette leave you for a man?
Of course, to become a wife.
Toast. I'll try. How did you recover? Besides the wisdom of the heart.
Threw myself into work, mainly. The more people I knew, the more paintings I sat for, the more money I made, the more secure I felt.
That helped. Money seems the farthest thing from love to me.
Of course it helped. Money is the freedom to find the right person, build a life. No man required.
So instead, you answered to the name you sit for. You would have more freedom if you painted yourself.
I have no eye for it. That was always Gustave. Besides, I wouldn't choose the life of an artist.
Are we all so bad?
Hardly. I am always drawn to artistic people, like a moth to a flame. But I like being a moth.
I shall try not to burn you then.
You're slacking. Keep eating.
Such a taskmaster.
If you finish, perhaps I will allow you to come out with me.
Oh, you'll allow me to accompany you? How generous.
I mean, I will invite you out with me. There's a new exhibit with a portrait I sat for. I thought you might like to see it.
Are you naked?
What?
Portrait.
Not this one.
So sometimes you are.
Of course.
I'd like to see that.
A naked portrait.
See, now you must applaud my great achievement. I am hungry for affirmation of any sort.
Good work, ma chérie. But are you sure you're up to it?
I would like nothing more than to be distracted by a beautiful woman and some art of questionable quality.
I will choose to hear the compliment and not the insult. Come on. I am pleased that you want to see it. They're having a little opening party. We can catch it if we hurry.
Germaine is basically out the door already. Edna stands up, realizing she is in more pain than she thought she was. She eyes the door to the apartment wearily.
Jermaine, I don't think.
She runs to the bathroom. Act 1, Scene 8. It's a week later. Germaine and Edna are lovers now. Germaine is eating breakfast at Edna's kitchen table and reading a paper. Edna gets out of bed and joins her.
Feeling better? There's more eggs if you want some.
Maybe later. Sorry I wasn't much fun last night.
You don't have to apologize.
Well, I wasn't the most gracious host.
I would say you've put on an admirable performance, considering we've barely left the bed for the past week, even though you've been in pain the whole time.
I haven't.
I've been staring romantically into your eyes for 7 days now, Edna. I knew that something was wrong even before you curled into the fetal position and stopped talking to me last night.
It's just stomach flu. Or food poisoning, maybe.
Do you think you should maybe go to the doctor?
No. No. I'm fine. You are taking care of me.
And I would love to keep taking care of you, but I already feel bad enough about not stopping to take you to the clinic when it was clear you were sick the day of the gallery opening.
Don't feel bad. I am very convincing when I want to be. Besides, I can't afford it.
The magazine pays you at the end of the month, doesn't it? Let me lend you the money until then.
They used to pay me at the end of the month.
But not anymore.
I haven't submitted my column.
Edna,
It is impossible to concentrate in this heat.
in this pain.
I'll have the money after the publisher buys my book.
And when will that be?
Soon.
Have you started it?
The pitch, yes.
I don't think you should wait. A simple stomach flu does not leave bloody tissues in the wastebasket.
I'm having my period, that's all.
It has been dark the last few nights, but I'm not blind. That's not menstrual blood.
A man would have never noticed that.
Well, I am not a man. I'm worried. Let me pay for you.
No, I won't take your money.
You borrowed money from George, didn't you? How is this any different?
I didn't borrow anything.
But you asked, and here I am offering. This is why I worked so hard, so I may spend my own money
On me?
on the things that I care about.
That's kind, but I really don't want.
Edna is suddenly hit with a stomach cramp. She bends over in pain.
See? You are not
It
well.
will pass. It always passes.
Edna, how are you supposed to write if you are constantly doubled over in pain? How are you supposed to live?
I managed fine just so far. See? I'm fine. At least I would be if you stopped hovering.
Alright. I have a sitting to get to. Take this and go see Dr. Foster. He's a family friend, and he may even have the comportement entre le malade to deal with you. Promise me?
Okay.
Good. I will see you soon.
Of course.
I'll expect a full report of what the doctor says.
Germaine exits. Edna pockets the money. Act 1, Scene 9. Edna is lying on the floor. She is writing a letter to her publisher, trying to charm him into paying her in advance for her proposed book.
The eponymous character is called Hardicott. He is a Casanova character, but in this world where Food is as secretive as sex, and his ability to stomach almost anything is what is whispered about. Well, since you like the pitch, will you send the advance immediately? Funds are tight. You are a prince among publishing.
She rolls onto her back and switches to Eugene's journal. Her tone changes. This is more confessional.
Dear little journal, I am writing a new while lines laid out on the floor, simply because it reduces the distance between the bathroom and the bed. Jermaine wants me to go to the doctor, but I cannot abide them. They are all old men who spend the entire hour judging me before they prescribe something that will surely make things worse. And you pay them for the privilege. I refuse. I refuse to be tended to like a broken doll. I spent the money she gave me on champagne. Surely pleasure is the best medicine. It will cheer up this little hot apartment anyway.
George walks in.
Edna! What are you doing down there?
Inspiration comes quicker down here, I feel.
Really?
Something like that. How was London?
So dull I could scream. It's all society dinners, picking up wallpaper, sitting in long silences in an overstuffed parlor, and then the boat back did its best job to kill me.
Sounds horrible. Serves you right for leaving. Tell me you regret it.
Horribly.
Good. And did you miss me?
Of course.
And you won't leave again, will you?
Oh, not this. Please tell me you did something interesting while I was gone.
Well, my publisher brought my book. We should celebrate.
Well, cheers to that. Are you absolutely rolling in it now?
I won't have to worry about rent for ages.
Are you still doing that? Shouldn't you see a doctor or something?
Of all people, I didn't expect to sound exactly like Jermaine.
Jermaine?
She wants me to see a doctor too. Every time we're together, she nags me about it.
When I said I hoped you'd be doing something interesting while I was gone, I didn't mean her. Crack investigative reporter, remember?
Fine. Don't be so possessive about it.
After careful consideration, I've decided that I don't mind.
Well, that's disappointing.
I can't win with you, can I? I'm being open-minded. I thought you'd be pleased.
Well, that my lover left for a month and isn't even bothered that I'm sleeping with someone else?
Or would you prefer some hot-blooded male jealousy?
You know, I think I would.
You are insufferable.
It's why you like me.
You don't have to sound so sure about it.
Oh, just shut up and listen.
Act 1, Scene 10. It's early morning, right as the sun is coming up. Edna can't sleep. She gets up and lights the candle, tries to write at the typewriter for a bit, gives up. She's in too much pain to perform through her writing, which makes her writing for work impossible. The only thing she can manage is the confessional journal, which she turns to now.
I cannot do it. Every time I sit down to write, my thoughts fly in 1,000 different directions. In order to write a metaphorical novel, one must understand the metaphor. To be honest, I don't think I've ever known what I'm doing in regards to sex, much less love. And I'm certainly no expert on food. Not anymore.
She picks up a check that is lying on the table and examines it. It's her book advance.
If I spend the advance quickly, do you think I can get away without paying it back?
Cora and Norma enter. They write Edna letters.
Dear daughter, today I was reminiscing about when you were small and I was away working. Do you remember? You made up all sorts of stories for me when I got back about the elaborate meals you'd cooked your sister. And in reality, I think you survived on porridge for weeks at a time.
I stopped by the publisher, as you asked. The second April print run should start in October. I know that's not much help at the moment, but they're all very excited about Hardiga.
Now, you must promise not to get cross, or puffy, or jealous.
When do I do that?
Charlie and I are married.
What? Already?
I wish you would have been there. But I know you wouldn't have come back to New York if we asked.
So we just went to the clerk's office with Mama. It does make me miss you so, having one of my daughters married. She had me as her witness. You barely even write.
Of course, my little sister has it all figured out before I do.
Jermaine enters suddenly, banishing the characters from New York, starting out.
Jermaine, what? It's barely even morning.
We need to talk. Mayor,
He'll sleep for a symphony when he's drunk.
I could not sleep.
Me neither.
So I started going through the stack of bills Gustav gave me.
That man would never survive on his own.
And I came across this letter. It's from the Salon des Independants. It's your handwriting.
Yes.
What? You were just admitting that you lied to him for months? Why?
To cheer him up!
There's no way he doesn't find out the truth when the salon actually opens. What was supposed to happen then?
He had a happy summer. That's more than a lot of us got.
You had a perfectly wonderful summer. Don't be so dramatic.
Look who's talking. You came over to my apartment at the crack of dawn because you didn't want to make a scene?
I do this every time. Start acting like the woman I loved.
Loved? He was always coming back.
Not necessarily to you.
It doesn't change how I feel about you.
Je suis trop bête.
Shh.
I will not be your second choice.
I'm not.
Oh, hello, Jermaine. Are you having breakfast with us?
I was just going.
What's the rush? You should stay.
I ran into Dr. Frosser. He says that he is still waiting to make your acquaintance.
There's sausage.
I hope you spent that money well.
Should I ask what the hell that was all about?
It's not important.
I know.
Are you really staying for breakfast?
I'd better get back upstairs. Things to unpack still, then work.
Okay.
Try not to be too sad that your girlfriend dumped you. You still have me.
He exits. Edna writes a letter.
Dear Mama, I'm so sorry to have written, or I'm so sorry not to have written you more often. Will you give Norma my congratulations? I have been missing you so much. My publisher bought my book pitch, so I thought, with the advance, there's enough money for your boat fare and lodging in Paris. Will you come? All my love.
Act 1, Scene 11. It's September. Edna is writing in her journal.
It has been a month since George returned. I try to hide the vomiting and the fatigue from him, but it's hard. Jermaine and our fight seems to haunt my thoughts. Maybe I'm trying to avoid thinking about the inevitable. I've been sick for what feels like forever, but I have never missed my period for this long. I hesitate to even write it, but I think there might be two of us sharing this diseased body now.
She walks over the window.
How is my body supposed to do that? Carry a child, give birth, keep it alive? I can barely keep myself alive. I sometimes wonder if it wouldn't be easier to just stop trying. But I'm too tired to actually do anything about it. So we end up back in bed, curled up against.
She collapses on her bed and closes her eyes. Gustav enters.
Useless control ballet.
He goes to the window, sets down his cane, fiddles with the sash, opens it, and begins to climb out with some difficulty.
To think I could compete with Vrock or Miro or goddamn Picasso. I was a good soldier, but I am a poor man. And now Emily has left me once again. Blast this leg!
Gus, what are you doing? You're in my apartment again.
So I am. You have the better window
What?
to jump from.
Gus, don't joke about that!
Who said I'm joking? You of all people should know how serious I am. You faced that letter from the salon. You wanted to see me suffer.
That is not true. I wanted to make you happy.
Of course. Let us give him false hope so we can laugh at him, the poor crippled soldier who cannot hate.
I have never laughed at you. I would never laugh at you, especially not because of your leg.
Why would I believe that?
Because I know what it's like to have a body betray you.
What do you mean?
I'm ill. Seriously.
But you were fine just a few days ago. You came up to our apartment, we drank all night, we played.
You drank all night. My stomach was eating itself from the inside. I've been a good actor in front of you, Gustav, but
For how long?
months.
What does the doctor say?
Why does everyone keep telling me to see a doctor?
You haven't been?
I hate them. I hate them so much. When has a doctor ever helped?
I was in a very bad way after Verdun. Mangled. But the war hospital saved me.
But this isn't a broken leg. It is pervasive and persistent in a way that I cannot even describe. And if I cannot write about it, what cure could a doctor possibly prescribe?
You'll never know if someone can help unless you ask.
If I go, it will be real. All of it.
You already know that something is wrong. It is already real.
But I don't know that I am perfect. I can't know, not really until a doctor tells me. And any doctor worth his salt will tell me.
Oh, sure.
Is it? Of course. Who else?
Jared.
Edna takes a step towards the window. Intermission. Act 2, Scene 1. Edna lies in her New York City apartment bed. Eugen stands beside her. It's late October. Edna's memories weave in and out of this act, and she tells Eugen the story of what happened since the beginning and the end of Act 1 in September. Eugen stays on stage the whole time, observing.
Am I? I'm not.
You're not dead.
But you look like an angel.
See, you're not taking it seriously.
I am. Go.
Okay, fine. The operation went well.
Did it?
They removed part of your colon.
Thieves! We must stop them before they abscond with it.
Heck no.
This was your idea.
I said you should envision waking up from the surgery like an athlete and imagining winning a race. You're the one who turned into some kind of melodramatic improvisation.
After this disastrous year, acting might be my only career choice.
I think
Never
poetry
know.
is probably a safer bet.
I thought you hadn't read it.
I've had plenty of time to catch up. It seemed like the best way to get to know you in your absence.
Could have written.
Oh, I wrote tons of letters. I didn't mail any of them.
Why not? Too intimidated.
I wanted you to like me. Still do.
Oh, you were right to be scared. My sarcastic replies can cut a man down to his knees. So, what'd you think?
The poems? I love them.
I wrote in your journal, you know, even when I couldn't write anything else. And I would be proud.
She would. She would really, really like you. If you had known each other as adults, and she would have been the first person to volunteer to take your place in life.
Really?
It's my biggest regret that I didn't make her take her own health seriously. She took care of everyone else.
I'm not sure what my biggest regret is yet. There are several, and they all live in Paris.
All right, Miss Melodrama. Hey, start from the beginning again.
For waking up. Okay?
Are you in pain?
Not till the drugs were off.
Do you regret it?
Surgery?
Getting married?
What?
Yeah, you got married right before you went into the hospital. It was beautiful. Your mother.
You did!
What?
That's not fair to joke like that.
But what if I wasn't joking? We could get married. I like you, and I think you like me. What do you have to lose?
Well, first of all, there's no time.
2 days is plenty of time, unless you need a fancy ceremony. But you never really struck me as the kind of girl. So.
I'm not. I never cared about having a church wedding or. You barely know me. You don't even know how Paris ended.
So tell me.
Cora enters. She is in Paris in September, immediately after the end of Act 1. It is a day after she arrived and prevented Edna from jumping out the window. Eugen is still in New York City in October. He watches and talks to Edna about her memory as it plays out in front of him.
I just don't want you to make a decision you're going to regret.
That goes for you, too.
I met you at one party and I thought about you every day for a year. I won't be regretting it.
How are you so sure that he'll even agree to this ridiculous plan?
Will, just let me ask him.
You can't expect a stranger to swoop in and rescue you.
He's my friend. And this will benefit him, too. It's logical.
When I walked in, he was drunk and about to jump out the window. You were about to jump out the window. Forgive me if I'm dubious about your logic at the moment.
Why did I even bother bringing you to Paris if all you're going to do is rain on my parade?
So someone could scoop you off the windowsill, presumably.
Gustav enters.
He's not there, and neither are his things.
Has he gone back to London?
I honestly don't know. I have not been very sober the past few days.
You know what? Doesn't matter. I have a better idea. A proposition. You want access to the artistic circles of the city to have your work in the salons, right? Yes. Well, I have the reputation that will get you there. And you, well, are a man.
What are you getting at?
If I'm an unmarried mother, I lose all that reputation. All that access. A married mother, well, nothing much would have to change.
Are you proposing?
We could be good for each other.
Oh, Edna. I don't know. First of all, I have no money.
You could get a day job, something easy. I could too, a secretary or a clerk maybe.
This is not the romantic engagement I envisioned for myself, I must be honest.
I'm not sure I know much about romance, Gus, but I value your friendship. Mama always says that's what a good marriage needs, right?
Don't bring me into this.
Are you alright? Is the baby? I'm okay. See, you'd be a good dad. Do you think so? You know, I'm no expert. Mine was never around, but I do think so. I really do.
Gustav?
No.
Yes, Rodney's in here. Oh, thank God. We've been looking everywhere for you. What is going on?
Who's that?
That's the front runner candidate for my biggest regret.
Edna and I are getting married.
Really?
Yes.
Thank you.
What are you doing?
Well, I've just finished proposing. You should congratulate us.
You know what I mean.
I'm pregnant.
Of course. And my brother is the man you've chosen to bail you out.
Jermaine.
Come on, we're friends. It benefits him too. My reputations can get him connections.
You're going to
and-
get him connections? After you lied and ruined his chances of sending out successful applications for months?
I apologized for
And
that.
I've forgiven her. I want to help Jermaine. It's all right.
You don't get to break my heart, refuse my help, and then draft my brother to rescue you.
I'm not.
Has she even told you that Emily has been looking for you for 2 days?
What? But she left.
You fought. That doesn't mean she left, but you went on a 3-day drinking spree anyway.
She still wants to be with me.
She was worried you did something stupid or dangerous. She's been looking everywhere for you.
Did you know this?
How would I have known?
Maybe because she's been by your building multiple times to look for him.
I didn't realize that was what was going on.
She said she spoke to you.
Is this true?
Yes, but I didn't realize she didn't view the break as final. I thought,
Tom de Montrose, let him go, Edna. I know it is difficult for you to not have everyone in the city at your beck and call, but he is not yours. I am not yours.
I never said he was. This has nothing to do with you.
Edna? You knew Emily was looking for me?
Well, it certainly feels like it does.
Sorry, Gus.
I thought we were friends.
We are.
No! Mashagri, how can we be if you lied to me this easily?
Do you know where she is?
At home, probably crying her eyes out. Come on.
Gus, wait.
I can't.
I can't do this without you.
Forgive me.
They exit. Germaine gives Edna a long look and slams the door on the way out. Edna snaps back to October in New York City again, talking to Eugen.
I can feel that door slamming. The way my whole stomach dropped. You must think I'm horrible.
It was a horrible thing to do.
And that's why you shouldn't marry me.
I don't think it makes you a bad person. You were sick. You were scared.
Kind. What in the world am I supposed to do now?
You come home with me.
I can't do that.
Of course you can.
They'll all laugh at me.
Who?
Everyone, publishers, other writers, all of New York.
That's nonsense.
I'll be the talk of the town. Oh, did you hear? She came back from Paris and swapped her book for a baby.
Darling, I couldn't care less what other people think right now.
I don't want to go.
I'm not sure we have much of a choice.
I was supposed to love it here.
Things don't always work out the way we expect.
I tried to love it here. Doesn't that count for something?
Of course, but we need to face reality. I can't just leave you alone in a foreign country in your state. I just can't.
I don't want to remember it this way. Oh, what did you like about Paris, Edna? The Eiffel Tower? The Louvre? Well, the four walls of my apartment left a strong impression. I ate the most fabulous plain toast for every meal as my stomach tried to kill me.
I'm sorry, love. I'm sorry it ended this way.
It's not fair. I want to do over.
When you're well, you can come back and try again if that's what you want.
Do you promise?
I promise.
Is that what you want? To try Europe again?
I thought so. The longer I'm back, the more relieved I am.
It's easier to be sick at home.
But I can't stop thinking about everything that happened there. Going over all the things that I should have done differently.
It will pass, especially after the surgery. When you're feeling better.
I've had these lines stuck in my head ever since we got off the ship. I may not ever more acknowledge thee, lest my guilt, pain.
Is that Shakespeare?
Yes, give me that book.
She points to Germaine's book of Shakespeare sonnets, which is on her dresser. Eugen passes it to her. She flips through to find the right page and reads.
Oh, bewailed guilt should do thee shame, nor thou with public kindness honor thee, unless thou take that honor from thy name. Germaine said that Shakespeare was the key to understanding a broken heart.
She sounds like an impressive woman.
I think she was wrong, because Shakespeare didn't understand her. She gave me public kindness. Even after all that.
Suddenly, Edna sucked back into a memory. She's on a pier, waiting for the boat that will take her back to New York City. Germaine is there. Edna is smoking. She offers Germaine the light.
No thanks. Got your note.
Didn't have to come.
I appreciated the apology.
Too little, too late, I know.
George telegrammed. Gustav sent him a message even though I told him not to. He's back in London.
Of course.
Yulia is pregnant, so there's no money, no support he can offer. Not that you expected anything, but I still thought you ought to know.
The phantom wife beats me once again. Thank you for telling me. Gus?
He and Emily are doing all right. He wanted to tell you himself, but I didn't think that would be a good idea. I also thought you should be the new owner of this.
She holds out a book of sonnets.
But you love this book.
I think I've gotten what I need out of it. And you could use some of its panacea properties after what you've been through.
You mean after what I put myself through? Misery of my own horizon.
Yes. But I think it will still help.
I can't take this.
Of course you can.
The ship whistle blows.
I really don't deserve this, Germaine.
Just take it from me. I can't make you forgive yourself, Edna, but if you sail away with this book, that's some sort of closure, right?
Thank you.
Edna takes the book. Germaine exits. As Cora enters, the energy seems to go out of Edna and she collapses into Cora's arms.
Are you feeling all right, sweetheart?
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm fine, just tired.
You're not going to fight me when I put you on that ship.
No. You're right.
Time to go home.
Time to go home.
Let's get you settled in for the journey.
The memory evaporates and fades into the present as Cora tucks Edna back into your New York City bed. Norma pokes her head.
I have a visitor. Can we come in?
It's just me.
I'm alright, you can come in.
It's good to see you made it back from Paris in one piece. You had me worried.
I had myself worried, to be honest. But Mama and Norma and Eugene have been looking after me.
I'm glad to hear that. As much as I came to see proof of your continued existence, I'm also here on an errand. The first copy of 2nd April. The publisher wanted to make sure you got it right away.
Speaking of proof of existence, finally!
Ooh, let me see.
Do you like it?
I always love reading your work.
You are always my most trusted reviewer.
Work.
I might need some time.
I hope we'll still be friends.
Are you happy with it? And I think we probably will be.
Cora enters.
Who is in here distracting my patient?
It's just us, Mama.
She's supposed to be resting. Out, all of you.
I'll walk you out, Lauren.
Talk later.
Of course. Oh, Mama, let Eugene stay for a few more minutes.
Only if you promise to make sure she stays quietly in bed.
Absolutely.
She's been hovering over me like a hawk ever since I got home.
She's the one who's saving your life.
I haven't told you that part yet.
She is your mother, though. It will always be her.
Right. Of course. Mama!
Yes, dear, 1 minute.
Why won't he talk to me? I'm 29 and I've been taking care of myself since I was 8.
What was that, love?
I'm just wondering why Dr. Faber was talking to you and not to me.
Well, you haven't exactly been a model patient.
Well, he needs to work on his bedside manner.
He's recommending surgery.
What? I thought he didn't even know it was wrong.
It's investigative.
Like a murder mystery.
Like an operation to determine a diagnosis. It's likely a lesion or infection in your colon. They won't know until they look though.
No. No! I'm not getting on that table without a plan. No one survives that, surely.
I know it's scary.
Scary! It's terrifying.
Edna, without fixing what's wrong, things could get so much worse. Your bowel could perforate. If there's an infection, it could spread.
Or it could not.
This surgery will save your life. I know you know that.
I have to risk my life to save you.
Yes.
That's not fair.
Of course it's not. But it doesn't change reality.
I have so much left to do. I have so much left to write. I have. What about the baby?
We need to talk about how much you want to be a mother. You could push the surgery back until after you have a baby.
But I'm getting worse.
You're right. You may not have that kind of time.
What do I do with?
I have nursing friends who can help. You're early enough along. There are pills you can take.
Do you think I would be good at it? Being a mother?
Of course. If that's what you want. You always took good care of Mom.
I think that's the problem. You were always gone and I made it up, and now I never know what I'm doing.
I used to worry about that all the time, that it would damage you. I tried so hard to figure out a way to bring you with me, but I couldn't risk a patient infecting you.
Well, maybe you should have saved yourself the trouble. I ended up ill anyway.
My point is that I eventually had to forgive myself. We do the best we can.
What if my best isn't enough?
I think you're asking the wrong question. It's 2 years from now. Where are you?
What?
I mean, what do you envision your life being like?
How am I supposed to know something like that?
Just try and picture it.
Like a runner winning a race.
Are you writing? Do you live in New York? Is there a toddler napping in the next room?
I don't want to be alone.
You don't have to.
And I want to be alive.
I'll make sure of that.
Not here. I'm so tired of this tiny apartment and that horrible alley view.
Are you back in Paris?
No. No, I don't think so. I think somewhere green, with space, and clean air.
Maybe someplace upstate.
I'm gonna keep writing. If I make it through this alive, I will find my way back to it.
And
That's it. I don't think there's a kid there. And even now I try to conjure up the baby and it's just fake.
I don't think you should be a parent.
Is that okay? If we're never parents?
All my hypothetical children have always been invisible too, so.
Is it responsible or selfish or
No, it's just a choice that you get to make.
are you sure?
Does this mean you're agreeing to me?
I'll go telegram my friend.
Cora exits. We're now fully in the present, in late October, and Eugen and Edna are alone again.
Maybe. Place of staying, huh?
Why not?
It will have to be full of character. Lots of great an old farmhouse, every window a vista. It will be hell to maintain, but you'll do it if you love me.
I'm sure that can be arranged.
And a barn, and a garden, and
The lights go out.
damn breaker! I hate this place. I hate it. It makes me feel like I'm suffocating.
It's all right. Just give me a minute. I'll get the candles.
They're in the
Dresser. I know. It doesn't look so bad in the light, does it?
no, it doesn't. I don't love you yet.
But you would.
Oh, will I?
Yeah. If I go to the office, the best writing book in our new farmhouse.
Eugen, what if I can write?
After the surgery, I can't imagine that's a possibility.
Of course, it's a possibility. The worst case always is. What happens if I live but I can't write?
Then you dictate to me, and I write for you. Or you tell me nonsense stories all day to keep me entertained. Or we both take up quilting or gardening or singing to fill the time instead. We'll make it work.
Do you mean that?
Of course, we can survive it, whatever it is.
Well, what if I hate gardening? What if I can't carry a tune or you transcribe everything incorrectly? Are you sure you're qualified? The position of husband/secretary is a difficult one.
I would be offended if I wasn't so confident in my secretarial skills. Test me. You really did write it.
Of course I did. And what should I use to determine your ability? A letter? An essay? A shopping list?
A poem. It has to be.
Of course it does. Ready?
Ready.
Edna takes a deep breath. The lights come back on. For a second, they shine so brightly she seems to glow. Curtain.
Everybody stand up and bow. Okay, so now we're gonna go into like our talk back portion. Everyone sit down.